Hi there, welcome to another episode of Scottish Football Matters with myself, Murray, and my good friend Lorenzo.
How you doing?
Yep, this week we're going to talk about the weekend's fixtures. We'll go through them all. We'll have a little chat on, obviously, a wee bit of an extra chat on Wilfried Nancy's start, and then we'll have a little preview of the European ties, of which there's obviously another three for the three of the Scottish teams. So I think best place to start is obviously Saturday, and it's quite funny that excuse me, our last pod we're talking about how many draws there are in the SPL, and then we go get a weekend with no draws,
I know. Weird, eh?
and not even not even just like barely any close games, but I think we'll start with Dundee Aberdeen because I think that was probably one of the closer ones. I know 3-1 it ended up, but I thought Aberdeen started really well.
Yeah.
O'Sheesh getting a couple of good goals. Like they weren't like tappings; they were just really well finished goals. Then Dundee get back into the game with the obviously the set piece, and it's another assist for that Congreve. And then but Aberdeen got a late third goal, which actually was my goal of the weekend. I know some people you might go for Bowie, but I thought the technique in Nisbet was just outstanding. I love a good
Yeah.
outside of the right foot finish, right in the. I mean, keeper just watches the whole thing going. You're like, oh, aye. But I think it's another good result for Aberdeen. It actually pushes them into the top six, so it shows you where they were. I mean,
hmm
we were on here less than 2 months ago talking about them being a manager should be sacked, relegation. Shows you how quickly it can change.
Exactly.
Um, have you got anything to add to that game?
I thought Nisbet took his goal well. It was a lovely finish. And Aberdeen were the better side. They looked more hungry. They looked more aggressive, and they basically deserved the victory.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
was yeah.
Yeah, I think the next one I'll talk about, I think, is Hibs Falkirk because on paper, if you just looked at this, you'd go, oh, 3-0, that's a pumping. It didn't feel like that from the highlights I've seen. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the Falkirk goal that get disallowed. I mean, I don't think I've seen a closer VAR in a long time. I
It's
mean,
very tight.
I'm still not even sure, I'm still not 100% sure he is offside.
Mm.
It's that one that you just go, that's the sort of one that you want to see strikers getting the advantage, but it just doesn't happen like the way it used to in football. But I thought the penalty changed it. I know, obviously, Hibs go on to win 3-0, but that first goal, that penalty, really it changes the flow of the game, I think. And I think I don't. I'm not going to say it's a dive, and I'm not going to say it's not a penalty. It is a penalty, but Boyle's clever. He knows where to position his body by going across the player. He almost initiates the contact
hmm
because he's
He's look.
running at pace. He's at pace, and but it's clever though. I mean, it's a clever forwards move across the defender to initiate contact so that you can win a penalty.
He's looking for it. He's
I
looking for
don't
it.
think it's a dive, but I do think it is a penalty. But it's just one of those ones where you go, what can the defender actually do? He can't stop. Like you
No.
can't make your body just stop.
He's
But
not. He's not intentionally brought him down. He's not brought him down on
no,
purpose. You know what I mean? It's no.
no. But I think obviously they step up, score the penalty, and then Boyle's first a great goal. Sorry, Bowie's first is a great goal.
Uh-huh.
The technique in that is really good.
hmm
The ball kind of gets stuck under his feet a wee bit, but he
Yeah.
just bends it right round Bain. It's a quality
That's
finish,
it's a lovely finish.
and it's really nice to see Scotland qualify for a World Cup and then Scottish strikers starting to score. But I want to see that. I want to see Bowie get another 10 before the World Cup
hmm
and he can push himself into that squad because
Yep.
he's a talented player. And I don't think Nisbet will go in the squad, but if there was injuries to, I mean, Dykes missed a tournament before, didn't he? And,
He got
you
injured.
know, I'm still yet to be proven by Hurst down at Ipswich. So I, I have to say, from what I've seen him, he doesn't look any better than Nisbet or Bowie. But
Don't think so.
I would be unfair of me to say I've seen a lot of them. It's really just snippets from Ipswich games. But I think if we
Yep.
move on, have you got anything else about that one? Did you feel that it's a
No,
fair
the
result? But I
yep.
think
Hibs played well, and Kieran Bowie took his goals well. Yep.
But
And
I
hopefully
don't think
he keeps it up for
I
Scotland.
didn't feel Falkirk played bad though. I don't think they played in a way that they deserved to lose 3-0. It was just,
No, they
a
didn't deserve it.
penalty. They didn't get their goal, but it was very
Hmm.
close to being onside. And
Tight offside.
two big moments, just, because if that
Mm.
goes 2-1, that's a different
Changes the
game.
game. Hmm.
And if they don't get that early penalty, then it could be a different game. And I know it's all ifs and buts.
Yeah.
If your auntie had boys, she'd be your uncle, but it's not really how it works. But I don't think Falkirk will lose any great momentum from that, because I do
No, they
think
won't.
that that's just one of those games where you know
It's unlucky.
didn't really go for them. But I'm going to say something similar in the next game, because Motherwell beat Livingston 3-0, and it's very similar. I don't think Motherwell played brilliantly, just like I don't think Hibs played brilliantly. I don't think Livingston played bad, just like I don't think Falkirk played bad. But just big moments. Livy, whenever Livingston are on top in games, they just can't seem to get that goal.
You're right.
And
They never do it. They never do it.
even when they go 1-0 down, they're always in the game. And I felt the keeper was a wee bit at fault for the first goal, because
Mhm.
I don't think it's a good strike by Elliot Watt, isn't it?
Elliot Watt,
It's a,
my.
it's a good strike, but the keeper gets a good hand to it, and I think you got to be keeping that out. And Motherwell always seem to get. I thought this was a very soft penalty. If I thought Boyles was soft, I thought
Aye,
this was
I
soft
thought
there,
that as well. I thought that as well. Yeah.
because again, I don't even know if there's enough contact to go down. If I'm honest,
No,
I think
I
it's
don't
one
think
of
there
those
is.
ones that. Do you know what? Again, the players run at pace. We've seen it with Rangers. We obviously, Gassama get booked for diving for something quite similar. And I would say there was maybe more contact in that one than there was in the Motherwell one. But there's
Yeah.
no consistency in these decisions, and that's what makes it so frustrating for every team.
If you watch the ref, he actually takes a few seconds before he points to the spot. It's as if he almost hesitates to give the penalty and then he gives
Mm.
it.
But I think the third goal is excellent. It's a really good team move, and that that long yellow, I think, has been one of the players of the season. The Motherwell left back, I think I remember him scoring against Rangers in the opening day, but ever since then, I think he was brilliant in the game against Hearts. That three
Hmm.
each game, he just looks like an absolute machine. Like,
Aye, he looks good.
I'm gonna compare him to kind of like a Calvin Bassey in that kind of way, that you just look like he's a big specimen. Do you know what I mean? He's it's like trying to chase a racehorse. I think sometimes
Yeah.
he's a big lad, and I think maybe not Celtic, because I think he's are well covered at left back. But I look at Rangers left back issues, and we've only really got Magoma. I think if we're not asking questions on Motherwell to see if what that situation is, we should
Mm.
be, because
Magoma's on loan as well, isn't he?
exactly. And
So there you go.
whereas this boy he looks, and I would argue he looks better than Magoma. I'm gonna give Magoma a pass. The kid's 20. He
Mm.
shouldn't be playing that much football. But I
I
do
like
think,
Mashwanise. I like him.
yeah, there's a lot of players in Watt, as we obviously mentioned. I know it was a bit of a goalkeeping error, but that boy likes a shot, and he's chipped in with some good goals this year. And Motherwell are probably, Hearts got all the plaudits because they're top of the league, right? But for me, Motherwell have been the best football team this year
Oh,
in
they've
the
played the
league.
best football, aye.
Yeah, and I include Rangers, Celtic, and everyone in that. I think they've played the best football
Just, they've just been
across this
unlucky with a lot of
period.
draws.
Yeah, I mean, but you could argue that Hibs have been unlucky with maybe similar, maybe, but then sometimes Hibs find a way to Hibs it and lose games that they should win. I mean, how they
Yeah.
lost to two with Rangers and Celtic, I'm not really sure, because they probably dominated spells in both games, but their biggest problem is they haven't really managed to, against the bigger teams like Hearts, Rangers, and Celtic, and even Motherwell. They've not really got much goals. But I think if we move on to what's the next game on the list, St Mirren Dundee United.
Yeah.
This kind of went the complete opposite of how I thought it would go. Just in terms of, I thought St Mirren would have been, sometimes before a cup final, team players
Hmm.
maybe don't give it their all, but
Uh-huh.
every one of those players looked like they were trying to get on that team sheet.
Oh, they were.
And
But that's another point about a game before a cup
yeah,
final. You get players that will maybe be hungrier because they want to be in that cup final squad.
and, and one thing I would say is, and it's not just to talk about Celtic, but whoever's playing, whether it's a right wing back or a right back, if you allowed Declan John, you know, like the way Dundee United did, allow him to whip a ball into the back post, St Mirren will score goals in that
Hmm.
cup final because the boy's delivery. I mean, I remember at Rangers when he was really young, he was always good, but he's got better with age. But no player should have like 10 yards of space to whip in a ball, but
No,
he does in
never.
that game. But I do think that if Celtic give him space, I mean, you've seen that. Remember the one that McGregor scored? He put a ball right across goal, and you're just like, if anyone just gambles on that, it's a. And he's done it a few times.
Yeah.
He puts in really good balls, and I think we'll get on to Celtic and their formation stuff, but I think they're susceptible to quality in wide areas. And if St Mirren can, as I said, if St Mirren and whoever they play against, when they come up against Rangers or anyone, you can, like, I'd imagine Hibs, right? Yous beat
Yeah.
Hibs the other week, right? But if you had come up against that Hibs team with Nancy in charge, Cadden would have had a field day down that left hand side. Whereas I felt Marley was maybe a bit more wise to it. But we'll get on to Celtic
Mm.
more. But I think back to St Mirren, I thought they looked hungry. They looked like they were fighting for jerseys. And
Aye.
Dundee United are just Dundee United, aren't they? They just, if they don't score a wonder goal, they don't score. Like it seem, I mean, it just seems like everything they do is just like worldies or nothing. I mean, they even
Yeah.
hit a shot that hit like the bar, and it was like it almost got a worldie, and
Hmm.
then that's it, just nothing
As
else.
we discussed before in a previous pod, they're like Jekyll and Hyde. One week they'll be
Yeah,
good, the next week they'll be bad.
and they've got games coming up where I think they've got a game at the weekend, and then they've got Celtic next midweek, and you're just like, but you don't know who's going to turn up. I mean,
That's that
they're
way,
the
isn't
sort
it?
of
That's
team
at
that could,
Tannadice, isn't it?
yeah, but they could
Yeah.
easily go to Livingston. I think it might be Livingston at the weekend. They could go to Livingston at the weekend and lose, and
Mhm.
then beat Celtic. But alternatively, they could beat Livingston 6-0 and then lose 6-0 to Celtic. They're just, there's nothing really easy to predict with Dundee United.
Dundee United midweek, let me think. Is that not the game in hand that we've got?
Well, it's one of the games in hand because technically by that point you'll have two
We'll have
games in
two.
hand.
I know because of the
Yeah,
cup final. But I think
because
I
Rangers.
think that's the
Yeah,
actual game in hand that we had before the cup
yeah,
final.
that's the one for the semi-final because
Aye.
we are strangely playing our normal league game this weekend against Hibs.
Ah, well,
So
that's because you've
we've
known the
still,
cup. So
but we've still not played our game from back.
the semi final.
I don't think we're playing it till January against
Right.
Aberdeen. So I'm pretty sure we've got a double header with Aberdeen now, one at home, one away in the space
That'll
of
be
like 4 days, which I
that,
quite
that'll be
like.
interesting. That'll
It'll
be
be like a wee
interesting.
two-legged thing.
Will
But
be.
yeah, I think Dundee United more of Dundee United, and I think if St Mirren put in that kind of performance, they'll they'll be right in the game next weekend.
Yeah.
And the bonus for them is they've got a full week to prepare for a game on Sunday, whereas
We
you have
don't.
got another
We've got
cup
Roma on Thursday night.
Roma.
Yep.
Well, if we move on to Kilmarnock Rangers, I think in general I thought Rangers were quite comfortable, but some things went their way decision wise. Miovski looked more like a striker. I think that's a real positive. But I never felt that Rangers were going to draw or lose that game. They just always looked in control. Even, and by the way, there's some terrible decisions. I mean, I think first I'll talk on the three goals.
The Butland one.
We'll come to that. I think that there's worse than that. I think how they flagged offside for Bruce Anderson when he's in his own half. And I know he
That's right.
goes on and
Hmm.
Barron clears it off the line. And if it goes over the line, VAR would check it and give the goal. So, but VAR shouldn't be there to clear up things like
Hmm.
that. That should be totally obvious. You can see the boy
That should be bread and butter.
is,
That should be
is
easy.
in his half. But I think that was a big moment because them not scoring that, I think Rangers do go up, and I think Rangers go and score straight after that, don't they? I think
Yeah.
Miovski's first goal's just
Hmm.
after that.
Yeah.
Miovski's second's a really good goal. Lovely. Like, just uses his body well. Good finish. Mikey Moore coming back was good. Get a goal. I think he's really unlucky later on to
Okay.
get one disallowed. But I think if we talk about the three big decisions,
Hmm.
first one, right? I think there's it's a debate, right? There's debatable in all three of them, right? Because I think the Diomande one, I don't think anyone can debate that it's a foul. The only debate for me is, does Diomande's pull continue into the box? I think that's very questionable.
Hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
see if a penalty is given, I'm not going to have an argument over it. But see if a free kick was given, I wouldn't have any argument over it because I
Mm.
really think that he does let go right as Watson's going to the box. But
Yep,
what I would say is
that's
it's
a
it's
foul.
absolutely lazy of Diomande. Just track your man. Just
Hmm.
it was just laziness. But
Yeah,
I think no one can argue it's a foul. I
definitely.
don't think it's. I don't think there's. I don't think it's clear and obvious, right, that that is a penalty. I don't think it's clear and obvious that that is in the box. And I think most people would agree that that one was just Rangers got away with one in terms of it's a definite foul, and that's what I don't like about VAR is see if VAR are checking it. Well, why can't they just say, well, it is a foul, right? It's not a penalty, but give them a free kick right on the a yard for because it's
Yep.
still a chance. I don't like the VAR just checks for penalties.
Hmm.
Like if you're
I know it's
checking an
stupid.
incident,
It's stupid.
it
They should.
doesn't really
Well, we'll get to that when we come to the Celtic game because there's
because
something I want to talk about.
I don't think it really matters that it's in or out of the box. I think if you've noticed a foul, you've noticed something's wrong,
Yep.
right? Then go back to it and give Coman like a free kick, a yard from the. Because who's to say they don't? Like, people miss penalties. People score free kicks.
I
Who's
know.
to say it's worse of a chance? If we move on to the Butland one, to me, it's a red card, and I'm going to say
All
why
day
it's a red
long.
card. Right?
All day long,
Not
Murray.
because not because I don't think he's meant it. Right? He's not meant it in
No,
any way. He's taking the
but he's
ball,
late.
but
He's
his
late.
left foot takes him as well. And I don't. His right foot takes the ball. His left foot takes the man.
Hmm.
And see if that was one of the Rangers centre backs. They would have got a red card for that, and we've seen it numerous times that it doesn't matter if you
So
take the
why is the
ball
goalkeeper getting protected then?
because they all do. And I genuinely think that this isn't like a just because it was Rangers. I think if that was Schmeichel or it was Smolov, they would all get away with it because
I don't
goalkeepers
know.
just seem to. They
I
do.
don't know.
Goalkeepers. How many times have you seen a keeper come out and almost like poleaxe a player and
I
nothing
know,
happens
but
to them?
I've seen goalkeepers, Celtic goalkeepers in particular, come out and foul. Like Craig Gordon's done it, Fraser Forster's done it, and they've been red carded. Similar
Yeah, but
idea.
you've seen them get away. I remember Joe Hart getting away with one where
Oh, well, he did. He
he,
did.
he
Yeah.
got he got the ball, but he also got the man, and
Hmm.
it's like, well, that's no different. But to me, I just think goalkeepers are totally protected with things
They
like
are
this, and a
far too
foul was a
protected.
foul. And I'm just saying, if that was Giger or Fernandez making that exact tackle, they would get a free kick and a red card. Now I know there's
Yeah.
some people saying that because Tavernier was there, it's not a red card. I don't think it's getting to do with the last man thing. I think the
No,
force is enough.
because if he's by him, if
Because
he's by Butland, he's in for a goal anyway. If he
I
gets
don't
by
know. I
him.
don't think that matters. I think the challenge is a red card just because of the force.
Oh, of
I
course.
don't think it matters that because Tavernier's there. I think Tavernier could block the shot. I don't think it's a clear no, a clear and obvious goal scoring chance. I think
Mhm.
the red card should be for the force because he comes at some speed. And by the way, he does take the ball, but and I know people will say, well, what's he meant to do? He can't make his leg disappear. I do understand that. I completely understand that, but we can't have one rule for outfield players and another for goalkeepers
Well, I bet if you
because
see
I've
that
watched.
again, that sort of
I
incident again to another goalkeeper, I bet it's a red card because they've
don't know
obviously
if
made
you
a mistake
remember.
with that one.
I don't know if you remember one, but Dujon Sterling made a challenge against Aberdeen where he takes the ball, but his force takes him just follows straight into the player. To me, it was a good challenge at the time, but then I understand that the speed and force that he went in at the challenge, they gave a red card. So I didn't argue with it because and to me, Butland's it's the same.
They call it
But I
excessive
think
force,
that
don't they?
yeah, I think that it didn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but I wasn't quite sure why Rangers fourth was disallowed because at first I thought right, it was the Fernandez challenge when he first wins the ball, right? But VAR
Hmm.
seemed to clear that and give a foul later on that's never a foul because
Yeah.
I don't even see any contact. I think Watson just falls down, and I was just a bit like what, like, but at the end of the day, it's whether it's 3-0 or 4-0, it's not. But you still want them to get these decisions right, and I
Yeah.
don't necessarily think that that was the right decision. I think a goal should stand on that one, but there was lots of decisions that some went away, some didn't. Um, I do think there's. I think the Diomande was just about right, but I just don't like the rules. I think the rules should bring that back for a free kick,
Yeah.
and I think the Butland one's the wrong decision. I think it's a red for force, but I genuinely believe that every goalkeeper gets away with that just because I've seen it too many times, and they just do have their own set of rules, sadly. But if we
Yeah.
move on to, and what I would say is Kilmarnock really need to start finding ways of getting goals because Bruce Anderson's a good player. Dackers looks like a handful. John Jules looks all right, but and we know Watson's good, but
Mm. Well, it's
they
either that or the manager's going to get the sack if they don't start winning games. It's going to go.
Absolutely. But if we move on to Sunday's game, my take on it, and it might be, I've listened to some Celtic fans today, but I don't want to be too harsh on the manager because I quite admire somebody who has their principles and that's how they want to play. But I don't think you can rip things up after 2 days or less than that of training and expect it to work, because my glaring faults in it was that you don't have the players to play that formation.
We don't.
Now, if you had 3 fit centre backs and Carter Vickers was there, I can completely get behind an idea of playing.
Think about the centre backs.
Scales, all 3 left-footed.
All 3 of them are left-footed. I know.
And you're constantly in Hearts.
Did somebody not tell him that? Did somebody not tell him that? These 3 guys are left-footed.
I just felt Hearts were laughing at that. They were just like, "We'll just let Trusty come out because he can't do it." I mean,
obviously the game when it starts, I think up until they score, they've not a shot at their goal. We're aware of them, and I like that part of it. I like the fact that we were constantly attacking them, but there was no end product. There was no end product.
Didn't really look like scoring either. Like every final ball was terrible. Like Hatate's passing was atrocious.
Didn't he cross a ball?
Engels, Nygren were terrible. I know it was a horrible day, right, with the weather.
The weather didn't help either.
I do sympathise that sometimes you can play a nice little pass and it just gets in that rain. It just goes
caught in the rain.
Right, so I do understand, but Hearts could still make passes and somehow Celtic couldn't in those sort of moments.
I'll put it down to the fact that it is the tactics. He changed it, although he came out. He contradicted himself because he came out on his press conference or whatever the interview that he gave to maybe Jerry McCulloch, and he came out and he said he wasn't going to change it right away. He's going to feed it in. Maybe he completely changed it.
Maybe he's just trying to throw a bit of a curveball to Hearts, but Hearts didn't seem to expect Celtic to start with 3, but when they lined up, it took Hearts maybe 5-10 minutes to work it out. But when they did work it out, I thought Hearts were just remarkably comfortable with it, and they just went, right, okay, we'll let Trusty come out with the ball because he can't use his right foot. Well, Tinecki looked, he's never going to be a wing back.
No, he can't. He's a one-trick pony. He can't beat him, man. He can't get to the byline and get a ball across anyway.
I thought Yang was decent, actually. I thought Yang was one of the two or three that I think got pass marks for me. But still not good enough. He's not a wing back. Johnston would do that job a bit better.
I think Johnston would be a good wing. I think Johnston on the right, and I think Sarachi on the left, when Sarachi's fit, would be good guys on the wings.
My only thing with that,
for the 3-4-3 formation.
Do Celtic need 5 defenders in their team though? Because if you had Tierney, Scales, even Carter Vickers, right, you had Sarachi on the left and Johnston on the right, it is 5 defenders. And when you're at home,
he has worked with Johnston before, so he's going to keep Johnston. When Johnston's fit, Johnston will get a game.
I'm not arguing that, but what I'm saying is, with that formation, you need to have a winger on one of the sides. Like, I can get away with Johnston on the right, but you need to either train Tinecki to figure it out or play Yang out there, or go get a left.
Jota when he's fit.
Here's a remarkable one. What about Maeda? He's got all the energy in the world. He's clearly not a striker, because if anyone watched him in front of goal in the first 2 chances, he's hopeless. He's utterly hopeless in front of goal. I know he scored goals, right, but he has no composure.
They've got their hands up.
See, for the Johnny Kenny, that's terrible. We'll come to that. But if Johnny Kenny is on those chances, right, Celtic are 2-0 up before Hearts even get a chance.
The first goal.
But if we talk about the first goal,
they stop, and McGregor puts his hand up, and you're thinking, play the whistle, don't stop. But then Engels played him one side anyway. So if Engels wasn't in that position, he would have been offside, because even Braga stops and he actually comes back before he gets involved again. If you watch him, his body language suggests that he's not interested in it, and then eventually he goes, I've got a chance here.
I just think Celtic looked, after the first 20 minutes, Celtic looked like lost and amateurish at times. And I just think, I don't want to compare him to him, right, because it's gonna just be an easy comparison. But I definitely seen Russell Martin vibes in terms of, it's all about my philosophy and not figuring out what have you got, what is the best for what you've got. Because sometimes
Exactly.
managers, and I never felt that Russell Martin looked at what he had. Like at any point, he didn't go, right, okay,
You don't play the
I
players that
don't
are
have
best in the
that.
positions they're in. You know, the
You
best
know,
positions they can play.
if you've got a philosophy, build it over a year or two and
Hmm.
figure that out. And I know we can't judge the guy after one game, right? But
No.
there was a lot of red flags, and
But then Ange
there's
lost
just
his first game 2-1 against Hearts as well, so we'll see what happens
no, I
as the
agree,
weeks
but
go on.
Ange's attitude to losing was different than
Then
Wilfried
Nancy's.
Nancy's yesterday. I
Yeah.
mean, what he said yesterday, that winning and losing doesn't matter. Now I know
Of
that he's
course it
French,
does. He's
and I
very wrong
know
in
that,
that respect.
and I know that things can get lost in translation. Maybe what he's meaning is, actually don't know what he's meaning, but maybe he's trying to say that it's not the most important thing on the first game. Maybe that's what he's meaning, because I know that Ange Postecoglou was different, right? Because even in the first game or two, you could see a style.
Hmm,
And it wasn't, he didn't have the players for it, but you could excuse when you've got, Dane Murray playing centre back, and you had, I mean, just players playing everywhere that were just weren't up to the job. But Celtic were in a position where they were still signing players through the August, so you knew that,
that's right.
okay. See, when he lost his 3 games, it was July and August. So,
Hmm.
but by the end of that window, Celtic looked stronger. This is different. This is a point where he needs to. He's starting a job in December now. In January, fair dues, you can go get different players. But see, for December, you need to figure out what's your best players, what's the best positions, how do I get the best results.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't want to throw the guy under a bus because we're too
No,
critical in
he
Scottish
obviously has
football.
to be given a chance. I mean,
But
that's one game, but
but what I would say is, it, it, it was it was a wee bit Russell Martin, sort of, but maybe it's just very fresh for me watching it.
yeah,
Sort of going, I'm seeing a lot of the same things, but
yeah.
I also just I've seen a lot of the same patterns though, that you're
Hmm.
like, I like it could work,
Aye.
but we're yet to see whether it will work. And I
Well, but
think,
Hearts are a decent side. Let's see if it works against a team that's lesser fancied, like a St Mirren or a Dundee or Falkirk or something like that. You know.
yeah, but I still think St Mirren are just like a mini Hearts. They're
Well, I
physical,
know,
they're strong,
I know.
they're not, and I don't think you're gonna. I mean,
It's not going to be
Roma,
easy. I know that,
no. But at
but
the end of
the
the day, this is why people said that Martin O'Neill should have stayed in till
I
we
think
could
so.
get you through. In fact, he probably
I
should
think
have
so.
stayed till the 3rd of January, if we're all
Aye.
totally honest, and then
If
refresh at the end. But
if we discuss the second goal though, I think in the build up to that there's an offside. Flag doesn't go up. It goes out. The corner's given, which they score from.
yep, yep.
VAR should have intervened and said that's offside, even if the flag
But
doesn't go up. I mean, I don't know why they can't intervene. That's stupid
it's
because
just the rules. They
that's
just go.
cost us a second goal.
I've
It'd be
got to
the
admit, I
same if it
actually
was
watched
another
it.
team. It
I
wouldn't be
watched it
fair to
on
another team either.
14 though.
You know.
I'm not sure it is offside though. I've watched it a few times now, and
No, they're
it's
saying it was
actually
offside.
it's
Saying it was.
very close. I watched it on Sports Scene, and honestly, it's so close. Like
If
I've
he
not
is
seen the
though,
proper lines.
have you
If
ever
he
seen
is,
that
yeah,
happen before? Does VAR get
yeah.
involved in that by a corner
No,
kick?
they
If it,
don't get involved in.
but they
Don't
should.
get involved in anything. No, no.
They
It's
should.
just
That's just pointless. What's the point in having it if you're only going to do it for goal scoring opportunities and if something's offside or whatever or somebody's
there's
farted in the build up? You
the
know,
way
it's
they look
stupid.
at it is that the next phase of play starts at the corner. So they're looking at it as the phase of play is over. Now, I completely agree with what you're saying, that it's caused, if it is offside,
But
it's
it's caused
caused
a
the
goal
corner.
and a
But I
goal.
think I'd be more concerned about the fact that you said 30 odd seconds to line up for a corner and no one marked a player.
I get
And
that, but
there's lots of issues.
corners are like penalties. You've got to score. You can score for a corner. You can score for. You can miss a penalty. You might not score for a corner. But the fact is, they've been given the opportunity to score for the corner when they shouldn't have had the corner in the first place.
I know, but you could go all the way back to any decision. Teams get throw-ins, and then I mean I remember Barry Mackay scoring a worldie against Hughes in a cup semi. That the ball should have went out for a Celtic throw, and
Hmm.
it went to Rangers, and Rangers threw it in quickly. Barry Mackay turned, shot, goal. Now
Well,
that's to me one of those ones that
that's
you
you
go,
getting your own back for the
no, no, but
1989 Cup final when Roy Aitken took the shy when it wasn't
but
us.
that's just one of those things that I think you don't want to re-referee the game, but I do think that one, it is debatable whether he's offside or not. But I do think there's other ones where that's far more obvious, and you see things going out for corners, and you lose goals for it. We lost one earlier this season to somebody. I can't remember who it was, but do you know, trying to remember what it was. We lost with a set piece. In fact, I think it was in Europe where the boy was about 4 yards offside in the build up, and it goes out for a corner. They cross it in, they score, and it is frustrating. But
It's annoying.
but we don't want to re-referee games,
No.
but we do want to get more decisions right. But that one, I think, if you look at it again, it's not as clear cut as it looked in real time. But by the way, in real time, I thought Hearts were miles offside. But then you actually look at it and you go, Engels did play them on.
Played them on. Yeah.
But I don't think Celtic ever really. I mean, they did create chances. I mean, like Engels has a header that Swallow makes a good save. Hatati puts a
Maeda.
rebound onto the
Point
bar.
blank save for Maeda.
Yeah, but Maeda can't finish. He's just terrible in front of goals, isn't he? I mean, he really is.
No, last season he wasn't. But anyway.
He was just loving Krantz last season. It was just a pure purple patch where things were going in for him.
We've only got about 8 minutes left or something like that, so we'll need to move on to what we're going to be talking about next.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of did. We were talking about Nancy. I think the guy needs to be given time, but there's definitely red flags. But people taking the piss out his wee tactics board is just, I don't like all that. But people had the same thing about Russell Martin, and
he's always used that tactic board. So
Russell Martin's constantly watching an iPad.
What I don't like about it though is the fact that McInnes was able to look at it and see what he was doing.
Don't make it so obvious then.
I know, but that's why I prefer an iPad. They can all sit and look at the iPad rather than.
But I don't mind a bit old school. I mean, his wee Timu tactics boards. But no, it's. I don't think we should. You should give the guy time. We'll see how he goes. But if we move on to obviously European ties this week, do you know what? I think all three of it. Well, Celtic have still got a chance of getting through, but I think Rangers and Aberdeen are just sort of playing for coefficient points.
I fear for Celtic after yesterday's game, but
I think
I don't think we'll do anything in Europe this season anyway.
If we start with Aberdeen against Strasbourg, I think Strasbourg are a really strong team. I think Aberdeen will put up a fight like they did against Shakhtar, but I think ultimately they'll probably lose 3-1, I'll say. But they'll be competitive, but I think they'll get done by just too much quality.
I think so as well. I think that'll be a heavy defeat for Aberdeen. I think I'll go 3-0.
Ferencváros Rangers, I'm going to say 1 each, just because I don't think Rangers care. I don't think Ferencváros are that good, but neither are Rangers, and I think Rangers they'll plod along and get a point, and just sort of try to not lose momentum of losing games. Do you know what I mean? And try to take that into the Hibs game next Monday. So
I think you're right. That probably could be a draw, because you say
I don't think they're great.
Good.
I don't think we are either. But
and Rangers basically they're out of the competition now, so they're not really going to be bothering about it.
Exactly. So, and then Celtic Roma. Again, I don't think it'd really matter if Martin Lee was in charge, because I
still think it'd be a tough game with Martin in charge.
Roma are a good team, and I watched them at Ibrox, and they didn't really come out of second gear, and they won 2-0.
What I'm worried about is the fact that under Martin, we probably would have get beat, but it wouldn't have been a heavy defeat. Whereas with what I saw yesterday, it'd be a heavy defeat, which I'm worried about.
You do look like you could score goals if you get that final pass right.
Of course,
the attacking stuff didn't look terrible.
Hopefully, he's had more time to work on it in the lead up to the Roma game and obviously the cup final. So we'll see what happens.
If I had to predict it, I'm going to go with something similar to Aberdeen. I think it'll be 3-1 Roma. I think Celtic will make it competitive. It might be 2-1 for a while, and Celtic will be pushing, but maybe just get caught with a set piece or a counter attack. And
I know I said we'd get hammered. I know I said we'd get hammered, but I'm going to let my heart rule my head here and say that I think it'll be 2-2. I think it'll be 2 each.
Okay. But it could be. I mean, and Aberdeen and Rangers could go and win because the pressure's off, because they're out, essentially. Do you know what I mean? And players, teams, they can do funny things. But
I hope we can win. I hope we get the luck, but we can't see the luck.
For Scottish football, we need to get as many coefficient points as we can between now and
so we can build up the Champions League entries again, so that we don't need to qualify.
But I think we'll touch on it. I think the next pod, if we do want to do it on the Tuesday next week, because Rangers are playing at 8 o'clock next Monday, because obviously the cup final had to get moved to Monday, and then I think Celtic are playing the Wednesday. So I think Tuesday's a good opportunity to kind of review the weekend, the cup final, and the Rangers game, and then we can start again with maybe reviewing. We can maybe miss the Friday one. We can maybe just review Celtic and the following weekend.
Just
because we can kind of just do it all, the 2 Celtic games.
Aye.
because I just think it can be a bit like I don't really want to do one during the Rangers game because
No, I know that
yeah,
because you'll be wanting to
you
watch
won't.
it.
I don't know. Rangers are terrible to watch at times.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm a wee bit scared about Rangers at home games. I think we look worse at home. We look all right away.
Mm-hmm.
We look capable of winning games away from home, but at home we
Aye.
look scared.
Right.
But we shall see. But
Aye.
that's for next week. But yeah, we'll rejoin next. We'll join on Friday, and we can
Aye.
obviously review the all the European games and speak about the weekend because I think there's some
Mm-hmm.
tasty games at the weekend because you're going to have obviously Rangers Hibs on the Monday, the Cup final
On the
on
Sunday.
the
The
Sunday,
Sunday,
but
yeah.
you've also got some good games. I tell you, because I was actually quite impressed. Like I thought there was some games that I thought, all right, well, you like some smaller teams might be able to get wins because it's Dundee United and Motherwell, which I'd
Mm-hmm.
fancy. Well, it depends whether it's Jekyll or Hyde to turn up,
Aye,
but
but
you've got
United, I know.
You've got Livingston Dundee. That was the one that I was thinking that's a big game. It's a big game for Livingston
Aye.
and Dundee.
Mm-hmm.
Also got Falkirk Hearts at Falkirk, and
Aye.
Falkirk in a night game. That'll be I fancy Falkirk, but
Let's.
we'll go
Aye.
more in depth.
I
We'll
would
go
like
more
to
in
see
depth.
Falkirk
Right?
do it.
You've got those three. Then the Sunday you've got the cup final, but you've also got an Aberdeen in the league against Kilmarnock.
That'll be because of the Thursday European match.
Aye,
Aye.
aye, and then you've got Rangers had to get moved to the Monday because there wasn't enough police to do the
Because of the
Rangers
cup
game
final.
on the Sunday as well as the game at Hampden, which is fair
Mm-hmm.
enough
Aye, fair
because
dues.
that is just what it is. When you accept it, but I quite like a Monday night game. It's, I didn't like the Saturday night thing
No,
the other night.
no, I didn't like
But
the Saturday game.
Monday night football, I'm all right with.
As long as it's
Uh,
away, I don't want to go to Celtic Park on a Monday night. No.
I don't mind. I don't mind it in a one-off, and I think in December it's dark every game, isn't it? So
The weather, the
it's
weather at the
dark
game
at
on
3 o'clock.
the weather at the game on Sunday was ridiculous yesterday. That was terrible.
No,
Aye,
it was a bit
horrendous.
mental, but yeah,
Aye.
we'll see what the next week brings.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it'll be an interesting weekend in terms of as I said, that Dundee Livingston game is huge for
Aye.
both sides, and Livingston. I'd say more for Livingston because Dundee
Mm-hmm.
have picked up the odd win, but Livingston need to stop that rot of games. And to be
Aye.
honest, Kilmarnock could do with getting something against Aberdeen
Mm-hmm.
and maybe take the
That'll be.
advantage if they get smacked off Strasbourg, they can maybe catch them while they're on a downer.
We might get some surprises. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Mm.
But we'll review all that on Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
All right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you then. All
Right.
right.
Thanks, mate.
All right.
Cheers again.
Right. Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.